distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we all rise now to welcome His Excellency, the quintessential GYB. Now that we're all started, shall we have the national anthem, please?
Newspaper. You're talking of you're talking of IGR, that is especially non-oil sector, and the IGR in Kogi State. And secondly, that of Kogi roads, roads leading to Kogi. First of all, when I assumed office, our IGR was within the paltry sum of about 250 million to 300 monthly. The state was operating from a 2-bedroom or 2-room office as our own internal revenue service. Of course, my background is that of accounting and revenue mobilization as well. We sat down, we take a look at the situation we met ourselves. We plugged all the loopholes, and then some revenue heads were distributed among some key political actors and leaders across the state. So we block all the loopholes. Hence, one of the reasons there was those hues and cries in those days. Secondly, we ensure that we expand the tax net, the revenue base of our state. There are so many revenue sources that were not annexed before. And how did we do that? We ensure that legislation, we made use of legislation. Kogi was virtually run then as just like a farmland where there is no rules and regulations and laws. My appreciation to the then assembly and the current one, they assisted in formulating various laws that we used in driving in a lot of revenues. Also, we ensure that people pay their taxes. So before, payees were not remitted. If it is deducted, either the civil servants or some few political office holders would make away with them, and they will not pay to the coffers of both state and federal government. We ensure that all of these were tackled. They are not taking away anything less than 10 to 50 billion monthly from that local government alone. Meanwhile, if you go there to that local government, it's an eyesore. And what have they paid in tax? I don't think it's up to 0.0001% to both the state and the local government. So we are embarking on a situation or a policy where both the communities, the artisanal miners, the state, and the federal government will have full records of what is being taken away from that area alone, so that we will have true benefit of our resources. So also, I'm sure you are aware of recent, the seeming feud between Kogi State government and one of the richest man in Africa. And I think it is a situation that was not palatable if you should hear the full story. And I know that before the end of this administration or the next coming administration, we will take it up head on by the grace of God and ensure that we take full benefit of the solid mineral deposits in that area. And I will propose to the federal government that I think it's better we look towards true fiscal federalism. I will advocate for that. In Nigeria, mineral deposits, both solid, liquid, and gaseous, are abound everywhere in this country. We should not be lazy in thinking and in action. I appreciate Mr. President, who is moving around the world to woo investors to come to Nigeria. There are several areas that can be invested in this country, and we have no reason whatsoever to be poor. That is that on the issue of IGR and the non-oil revenue sector. Talk of the issue of security, poverty and unemployment as one of the causes of insecurity, both in Nigeria or elsewhere. Yes, definitely. I agree with you. I may not be able to give you all the data offhand. If I attempt and you verify, then you call me a liar. But I'll simply refer you to our online referral compendium. Make a research of your own and see where we've met Kogi and the various efforts we've made to ensure that there is employment and reduction of poverty. I think I will just stop at that. Both our online referral compendium and our website. I think Fawo is here. Fawo can make all of these details available for us. You go there and verify. But I want to assure you that ever since I came on board, we have employed more than the previous administrations put together. We have reduced poverty more than the previous administrations put together. We ensure that those unintended beneficiaries that have been taking our resources were completely removed from our payroll, thereby making resources available for us. In fact, we made more millionaires in this regime than the various regimes put together by way of empowering them and teaching them how to fish, not necessarily giving them fish or opening the vault or the resources of the state to any individual. Thank you. Mr. Victor, of politics editor of Radio Nigeria. The issue of the last election, that there were reports of excavation of roads. First, during election or any of electioneering campaign and electioneering process, one, we don't halt construction or we don't halt any infrastructural development. At that point, we have to continue if we have to proceed on our road construction. That is number one. Number two, you know that that particular election was characterized with a lot of what I call fake uniformed personnels coming to invade or disrupt our elections. And as the chief security officer of the state, the chief intelligence officer of the state, who would not wait to react to and allow criminals to take over the process of our electioneering. We acted based on intelligence to deter criminals, not electioneering body, not voters, not contestants, from gaining access to our enclave. So we took a decision of preventing criminals from invading our electioneering process. To Ismail of MITV Lagos, you're talking of media gains and of course the tour of Kogi State. Of course, there has been various tour of Kogi State by various media houses. both electronic, print media, online, and all what have you. Of course, our records will speak for us. Aside visiting these various websites and the referral compendium, we are free at any point in time. The Commissioner for Information is there, and various other line ministries are there to take you a tour of our tangible and intangible achievements during this administration. So you are free to come at any point in time so that you see exactly what we are projecting, whether it is true or not. And I hope you are going to help us to blow our trumpet after the visit. The fourth person, I didn't hear your name very loudly, but you're talking of the election that produced Alhaji Usman Ahmad Ododo as candidate and some assertion as my cousin. Honorable Ahmad Usman Ododo, we and myself, we have no any blood relation whatsoever. We have no any blood relation whatsoever. Yes, Ahmad Usman Ododo might come from where I came from, but in Kogi and where we are headed, we try to put aside the sentiment of ethnicity, religion, or class. 19 years of ethnic sentiment in Kogi State brought us to where we were before I came on board. And today, we talk of merit. We have broken the jinx of ethnicity and religious politics in Kogi State, and of course, class difference. In the past, it is who you are, your father, your uncle, or who you know, before you are either elected or appointed to various offices. Today, we raised people from very humble background, and today they are leaders in their various rights as far as Kogi State is concerned. And Honorable Ahmad Usman Ododo, a very compassionate, very wonderful fellow, emerged in a very keenly contested primary elections, and he won overwhelmingly under the platform of APC. And today he is poised to win the general elections that is coming November 11, 2023, and definitely he is going to take over from me. To my dear sister Chioma, the issue of security as it affects the current attack on campaign offices. Yes, I received such a report, and the security agencies are up and doing to ensure that all political thugs and criminals, irrespective of a political party, are caged and brought to justice before, during, and after the election. But I want to assure you that election of November 2023 in Kogi State will not only be free, fair, and credible, it will be the most peaceful. I have superintended over various elections before the next coming one, and we continue to learn and improve every day in terms of performance, and this next one is going to be very, very secure. Before I arrived here, one of the issues that delayed me was issue of handling security and strategizing to ensure that all forms of criminals are taken care of adequately before that day. And I trust all the law enforcement agencies, the police being the leading agency and other security agencies, they will do excellently well before the election, even during the campaign. So I want to assure you that the election is going to be free, fair, credible, and the most peaceful in the history of election, both in Kogi State and Nigeria. We always lead and others follow. We are going to take a lead this time around, and that next election, by the grace of God, will produce Ahmad Usman Ododo freely and fairly. And of course, we are going to campaign on issues. Where we met Kogi State, where we are today, and where we are headed. And the citizens of Kogi State are ready to elect Sir Ahmad Usman Ododo the candidate of APC overwhelmingly in the November 11, 2023. You cannot be a leading candidate. You cannot be a winning candidate, a candidate that is accepted by the people, and then you are perpetuating crimes or criminality or thuggery. So we're not going to allow that to happen in Kogi State. Thank you. Yes. Leading to Kogi State. Well, in the previous administration, I always say it the way it is. We've made several attempts to call on the federal government to come to our aid after various interventions and palliatives from the state government. Remember, our resources is not more than enough. It's not enough to be able to take care of all of this. Please, before on the IGR, starting from that 250 to 3 million monthly, we rose it to over 1.5 billion monthly as a result of the various measures we took. And I know that we can do even better, and we shall do better before the end of the administration and the next coming one, having identified so many more loopholes and areas that we shall come in. So, we made attempts. Remember before, leaving FCT to cross Kogi State, you will hold your breath. We started intervening by clearing certain number of meters off the shoulders of the federal highway. And why was kidnapping and armed robbery on the highway? Usually, all those takes place on long federal highways, being manned by federal agencies, security agencies. But we intervened by filling and doing certain palliatives along the road, and there is no any refund to the state, and hence we record serious security breakthrough in those areas. So, but somebody that was manning those roads in the past said, from Okene to Lokoja and from Lokoja to Abuja, the route is not economically viable. That was what we were told. Aside my visit, the then state legislators visited the ministry. The federal legislators, both senators and House of Representative members, visited. Our traditional rulers visited, and nothing substantially was done. But we thank God Almighty. We have a new regime, and we are looking forward to have a sigh of relief. And already there are interventions from the current administration. The following day, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurated and saw in the new cabinet. His Excellency, the former governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer Dave Umahi. Myself and him, we took a tour of the federal roads, leading to Kogi State and within Kogi State, and he promised of immediate intervention. So as we speak today, there are interventions going on in Kogi State. So both at ministry level and at FEMA level, they are intervening. When I was coming, in fact, he immediately drafted the acting MD of FEMA to come and visit me, so that some areas that they need to intervene. So the man met me here in Abuja, and I asked him that I can't tell him anything. He himself and his team should take a tour and visit Kogi State the following day that I'm coming. And they did immediately. That is how responsive and responsible the current administration is. So, and after visiting me, I said, is there any question that you want to ask me again? He said, no, there's no question again. He has seen all the things by himself. Today, when I was coming, there are very bad areas. I quickly called him and I did a video call, and he immediately directed the controller of works, FEMA, in Kogi State to start immediate intervention for those bad spots before the final intervention comes. He quickly called all the contractors that handled FCT road. In fact, immediately after, from FCT to Kogi, immediately after the airport, you discover that the walk from the city center to the airport leading to the Clinton Way is completely different from that Clinton Way junction to Giri junction. He called on the contractor to immediately return to site and begin to do the needful, and from there to Kogi, and from Kogi and beyond. So our road, we believe, is going to wear a new look very soon. Thank you. And for the state's roads, I think the question that I answered earlier of a media tour, when you come, you see it by yourself. They say seeing is believing. You'll be shocked at how much we're able to utilize the media resources we have to fix our road infrastructures within Kogi State. Mr. Odita Sunday of Guardian, issue of solid minerals, especially lithium in Kogi and Nasarawa and several other states, and insecurity that this is causing. And then what will I recommend to federal government? I virtually answered this in the earlier question I answered. Look, let us tell ourselves the truth, my dear brother and dear Nigerians. True fiscal federalism is the only way. You will not be in charge of your resources and allow crimes and criminality to fester, because that is where you are generating your resources. You will secure it. You will man it. You will face all these crimes and criminalities. You will not allow any foreigner to come and be arming your citizens to take arms against where you are generating revenue. Because if I leave my state to Nasarawa state, I will just be a beggar. Meanwhile, I have my own resources in my state that I must secure and bring in investors to come and harness. Let us be in charge and pay royalties and percentage to the center to take care of other things and reduce the heavy burden on federal government, more resources to the states, and we will take care of all of these lingering problems. Mr. Deji, my brother I always urge you, my dear brothers journalists, that please be more proactive. Carry out investigative journalism so that you won't you'll be asking certain questions that are stale, let me put it that way. When I assumed office, let me tell you that since 1992 that the state was created, we have the record. There has been salary arrears, pension arrears, percentage payment of salaries to local governments and sometimes to state government. It was worst in the times of my immediate predecessor, where sometimes 3 months' salaries are combined to be able to pay only 10%. We have the records. When we came, we inherited about 4 months' salary arrears of state, and several months, sometimes I think it's almost leading to 12 or 16 months of salaries to local governments. And I will I'll give you just one example today. If we had come out and we are drawing the line, first of all, I drew the line, I didn't prove any previous administration. We decided to draw the line on issue of payment of salary, and we started from when I inherited the state, from 27th of January 2016. Probably would have been talking or calling the previous administration of their salary arrears. But what did we do? We cleared all the backlogs of civil servants at state level. And we ensure that issue of percentage salary, some 10 or 15% in some state, or sometimes 3 months are combined together before 10% can be paid to some local governments in the previous administrations. If we had drew the line, we would have been talking about salary arrears. But today, at local government level, I don't think they're taking less than 50 to 60% of what they had. And I will ask Fawo to throw more light on this very soon. But let me tell you, go to various states as far as north is concerned. no state is paying local governments higher than we are paying today in Kogi State. Please carry out your own investigation, investigative journalism, and we have records, even as we are here today. None. At various grade levels and steps, what are the local governments in these various states taking, and what is that of Kogi State taking today? At state level, we are not owing anybody a single dime. We've cleared all the areas. Recently, the past political office holders approached us and prayed that we should pay their own arrears of 4 months owned by their own principal. Because we drew the line there. And recently we released some to clear 1 month. That is past political office holders. You won't say that I employed them and I didn't pay them. And none of my current and immediate past political office holders of my GYB that is being owed a dime. So that is the situation we inherited in Kogi State. Like I said, Fawo will now throw more lights. I think if you have to go detailed, please, you make sure that you touch so that base can be cleared once and for all. But let me attempt the remaining 2 other questions. My brother Emeka from Blueprint. What was your question once again?
Why is it taking place here and not Kogi?
Oh, okay. Why is this? Okay, this session is taking place here in Abuja and not Kogi. We are simply looking at convenience for you. Is it just convenience for you? If not, it should have been better for me to host you in Kogi. See the time it took me to leave and inconvenience myself and come here simply and abandon other responsibilities and pressing tasks, just to simply come and attend to this class and make you convenient. If I say you come to Kogi State, you'll be looking at the convenience for you. I think that is just what it is all about. If not, I'll be more glad to even host you. And I think next session should take place in Kogi State. So it will avail us the opportunity to even go around and because after the class session, let's go to the practical one.
Yes.
We go to the field and see what is happening. How will I, Mr. Chibuzo said, how will I want to be remembered? Well, anyone can choose to remember me for what I have achieved, but I want to be remembered for that man who took up the challenge of leadership. In Kogi State, areas of disunity, insecurity, poor dividend of democracy, and what have you, and various challenges who came and lay a solid foundation for new Kogi State to thrive. Thank you and God bless you.
Well, Mr. Franco is here and he has his Bible to throw evangelistic.